Dear students, I welcome you all for this video lesson on Sociology Chapter 3, Social Movements. In this unit, we are going to discuss about meaning, nature, origin and evolution of social movement, environmental movement, women's movement, alcohol's prohibition movement, farmers movement, workers movement, and also about untouchability prohibition movements. First, let us know the meaning of social movement, its origin and meaning. A social movement is related to a natural resistant social process, that it is related to social mobility, changes and transition. What does it mean? So it is a natural opposition which takes place in the society, and it is also related to social mobility. Mobility means movement, and because of the social movement there will be a change and there will be a transition in the society. It is a planned one and it has a goal and plans to achieve it through a program of action. Every social movement is done with a particular plan and it will have a goal, and the people will struggle to achieve that goal. There will be a plan, they do a program of action in order to achieve the particular objective. It is natural one and they have been happened and will be happening in future too. So social movement is not fixed to a particular time. It is a natural process which has happened in the past and in the present, and even in the future there will be a social movement. It has taken place mainly for opposing exploitation at personal as well as community level. That means to say, human beings, they oppose whenever there is an exploitation done to them. It may be a personal exploitation or it may be a exploitation done to the community. So social movement refers not only the personal exploitation opposition, but also people oppose whenever the community is in danger. It is a community based program where there will be involvement of a large number of people. So social movement occupies a very important place and it is very unique. It is a social platform that enables people to showcase their needs and visions. People who participate will undergo many unexpected changes, go through new experiences, and develop new social practices. That means social movement takes place in the society. Society itself plays a role of platform, and in this social movement, people or the whole community, they express their needs, their vision, what is their aim, what does they expect, all that is depicted in the movement. And participating in the social movement, many a time they also undergo many changes which is unexpected. They will only be not knowing what is their particular goal. The goal may change or their statement may change, and they may experience a new kind of changes and they develop a new social practices. To make this point in a better way, we can quote an example of Mahatma Gandhiji. In the beginning of his social movement, Mahatma Gandhiji used to say, God is truth. That was his statement. But after he interacted with many people in the society, like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and others, finally his statement got changed. So, first he was telling, God is truth. Later, his statement turned to, truth is God. This is the result of Gandhiji's interaction with various personalities in various social movements. Hence, every social movement creates new models of social changes. And we can quote another example, that is during 19th century, most of the environment resource was considered as a public property. But during 18th century, industrialization took place. After the industrialization, government and private companies, they started claiming the ownership on the public property. Many legal provisions were brought into effect. Prohibitions were started even on the natural fuel. This checked the access of tribal people who felt that all the natural resources belongs to them. So many reformers raised their voice against this, which led to farmers' movement, environmental movement, women's movement, etc. And one more example we can quote here is during the Indian freedom struggle, Indian independence movement took place. So this movement took in such a large scale that it brought a permanent change in the society. Some movements failed to leave permanent impacts, but in the history of India, we come across many movements which brought a greater change in the society. To quote some example like Bhakti movement, which left a long, strong impact effect on the society, and many great social reformers like Buddha, Mahavira, Mahatma Gandhiji, Basavanna, Shivasharanas, Dasas, Sufi saints, Ambedkar, they all became a very important leaders who fought and led the movements against many bad practices which were there in the society like caste system, sati, child marriage, so many. So this system allowed upward movement. Now let us see what is the origin and evolution of movement. Many minor frictions takes place in the social life which arises and vanish later. Frictions here refers to clashes, and many clashes takes place later, they automatically disappear also. They create temporary movement for a moment. They are recognized as the beginning of the social movement. Now, for example, mob is one best example for evolution of movement. So, at later stage, mob assembles leading to mob violence. Many a times without any favorable circumstances also violence starts. Here you are seeing a picture how people are involved in the frictions, clashes. So what is the meaning of mob? Mob is a collection of people which collects in place and indulgence in a temporary thinking, demands and the related emotional expression. This expression is called mob behavior. These type of sources later turn into a social movements. A mob is a collection of people who have assembled at particular point without any prior plan and gather to express some decision. So the very best example for a mob is a group of people who have collected in front of a theater to watch, or a group of people who have gathered around to know more about an accident. They are the best examples of the mob. Here the people, they have not made any plan. So they are standing before the theater to watch a movie. Suddenly a friction may take place. Or when the road accident takes place, many people they gather together, they assemble together without any prior plan. They are very curious to know what had happened and they express some sort of decision. Some may say take him to the hospital. Some may become very angry with the person who was responsible for that accident. Like this, they express their emotion, demands, and the related emotional expression. Later, when the person who has become the victim, when he is taken to the hospital, the mob will automatically disappear. That's why it is said that they collect in a place, it is only a temporary gathering. Later, they go to their own businesses. So this is the best example to show about the mob. What is mob violence? When the behavior of the mob turns violent, then it is called as a mob violence. There would be no unity in the mob violence. Here, antisocial elements lead to the mob towards the violence, destroying public property. They create confusion in the beginning. Out of confusion, violence grows out. Many a times, mob violence results in the major death. So here is a picture you are seeing how people are involved in the clashes how the police is taking the victim, how he has faced the anger of the people in the community. Now, let us talk about the various environmental movement. Before that, let us understand the meaning of environmental movement. Environmental movements, they are the scientific movements which are aimed at preserving the biological system, mainly to protect the environment. The environmental movement take place. The scientific protest aimed at curtailing the various activity. Curtail means to check the various activity that pollute the earth, air and water. There are the three main criteria. Whenever these three are affected, whenever there is a pollution on earth, air and water, the community, they oppose, they do a movement which can be called as an environmental movement. They never appear instantly. That means all of a sudden environmental movement does not take place. They are the result of many years of exploitation of nature and tribal people. For example, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha was formed in the year 1973, but before 1930, tribal people of Jharkhand had opposed the action of companies that rendered thousands of tribal people displaced due to mining activities. Jharkhand Mukti Morcha is one such result of these agitations. Many movements started emerging after various developmental activity which was funded by the World Bank, which resulted in the displacement of the tribal people. All the movements opposing raising global temperature, exploitation of water resources can be grouped under environmental movement. So, many intellectual means those who are concerned about the society, those who are having high caliber, knowledgeable, intelligent people, and academicians. Academicians means one who are very good at academics. They all joined their hands with the common people in holding the movements mainly to protect the environment. Now we will be discussing about the various intellectuals, the writers, the authors, and one who is very good in academics, how they came forward along with the common people, how they protested in order to protect the environment. Now, let us understand various environmental movement in brief. So first let us talk about Chipko movement. Chipko movement is one of the very popular environmental movement. The government had issued license to cut 2500 trees belonging to Rainy village of Tehri Geharwal district. The women who learnt about this decided to hug the trees in order to protect them so that environment remains protected. Chipko means in Hindi to hug. This movement of hugging the tree is called as Chipko movement. It started in 1974. Though a woman was instrumental behind this movement, its effect was long lasting. Due to this movement, the permission given to cut the trees was withdrawn. So here is a great environmentalist by name Sundarlal Bahuguna, who was the great leader in this Chipko movement. You can see how women are holding the trees and protecting and taking an active role in protecting the nature. Another important movement took place in Karnataka is Appiko. So in Hindi, Chipko refers to hug the tree. Similarly, in Kannada, Appiko also refers to hug the tree. The Appiko movement started in Karnataka in 1983 by the villager of Salyani. The local people opposed the move of the contractor to cut trees in Kalase forest. They stood hugging the trees. The people launched this movement to protect trees from smuggling. They also aimed at increasing awareness among the people about the importance of growing forest. So here is a picture. You can see how actively the people participated and they were able to bring awareness among the people regarding protection of the trees. Another important movement is about Narmada Bachao Andolana. The huge dam was built across the river Narmada under Sardar Sarovar project displaced local tribal people. They became very angry. So, as scientific studies found that the dam is going to affect the sensitive ecological balance of the river, the people they agitated against the construction of the dam under the leadership of a great lady, Medha Patkar. You are seeing the picture of Medha Patkar and how people are sitting beside the river Narmada, protecting the river Narmada. This movement has been going on for a very long period. Silent Valley movement. A dam was proposed to build in the Silent Valley of Palghat of Kerala. The building of dam threatened the sensitive ecological balance of the Silent Valley. People from Kerala, Shastra Parishad and wildlife enthusiasts, they opposed this project. Finally, the movement was successful, installing the dam and protecting the Silent Valley's sensitive ecological balance. Coastal Karnataka environmental movement. People of Mangalore opposed against the Mangalore Refineries and Petrochemicals Limited, which discharged harmful chemicals into the sea, threatening the local environment. This movement also opposed the establishment of Nandikuru thermal power plant and special economic zone. Here is a beautiful picture of coastal Karnataka and how the people were able to achieve the success. Now let us know about the movement which opposed the establishment of Kaiga nuclear power plant. The move to oppose the establishment of Kaiga nuclear plant was undertaken by the people of coastal Karnataka under the leadership of Shivarama Karanth. As we said earlier, many intellectuals they joined their hands with the common people. So Shivarama Karanth, a well-known writer in Kannada, he took the lead in opposing the establishment of Kaiga nuclear power plant. It was argued that with the establishment of nuclear plant at Kaiga, vast deforestation, that is cutting of the trees, will take place and also there will be a threatening of pollution from nuclear radiation which would spoil numerous species in the ecosystem. Hence, the movement opposed the establishment of Kaiga nuclear reactor. People like Medha Patkar, Sundarlal Bahuguna, and others, they have agitated for a long time to achieve success in their endeavor. Only in case of environment movements, mass hunger protests have also taken place after the attainment of independence. Ecology is not an independent science, it is a part of life. Here is a picture of Sundarlal Bahuguna and Medha Patkar who took active role in protecting the environment. Now let us know the meaning of women's movement. Among all the mass movements that took place during 1980s across the political parties, women's movement occupies a very important place. It is a movement that opposed the patriarchal values exploiting women and the creation of inequality on the basis of gender. Patriarchal values refers, patriarchal means the head of the family will be the father, and male dominated society which exploits the women, and there will be a inequality based upon the gender. So women movement, here the women opposed this gender inequality. Even in the literary world, many books have come out portraying the various alternative ideas against the exploitation of the women. In spite of all these protests, the number of women affected by dowry is still high. Every day in the newspaper, we keep studying, we keep reading how the women are exploited. The exploitation of women in the independent India have underwent a lot of transformation. The patriarchal values that consider women as mere slave has created inequalities in the society. In these unequal situations, women are subjected to physical and mental abuse, dowry harassment, rape, and other exploitations can be observed in every day. Domestic violence has curtailed the independence of women within the house and also outside the house. The exploitation of women has taken place in the new forms like acid attacks, kidnaps, and human trafficking, selling of the girls, selling of the women. The earlier honor of clan has transformed into honor killing. Women are denied many rights explained in our constitution under Articles 14, 15, 16, and 39 for equal rights for work and wages. The women's movement is a movement that strives very hard to achieve these goals. Now let us learn more about this movement. Alcohol prohibition movement. Among various movements designed by the women, pressing for alcohol prohibition occupies a very important one. This movement is different because lot of women have shown a lot of unity in this struggle. Total alcohol prohibition was a part of freedom struggle. Mahatma Gandhi ji proposed the total prohibition concept during the freedom struggle. This also became part of Chipko movement. It also became part of environmental movement that took place in the coastal Karnataka and in Malenadu. Kusuma Soraba and others along with her have lost their lives during these movements. Apart from this, women have protested against sale of liquor in Hassan, Kolar, Mandya and Chamrajnagar district. Alcoholism creates a lot of problems at personal level as well as community level. It has created severe problems in lives of rural women. The laborers lose their small earnings to this addiction. They often forcibly take away money earned by the wife also. Hence, women have come together to organize protest against alcoholism, which has created a lot of problems in their life. Here is a picture. You can see how women are involved in prohibition of alcohol. Now, another important concept is about farmers' movement. The farmers' movement began with the denial of land tax. Later, they tried to express their problem in the face of economic problems besieged their community during the later part of 21st century. During 1980s, among all the social movement, it is the farmers' movement that is considered to be very important. During 1970s, D. Devaraja Aras, who became the Chief Minister of Karnataka, and he occupied a very important role as a social reformist. He strived very hard to implement legal measures to free the downtrodden from the shackles of caste system. Measures were taken to free the farmers from the clutches of tenancy system and bonded labor. Apart from releasing the farmers from the debt, the minister, Mr. Basavalingappa, also tried to eradicate the practice of carrying night soil on the head. In the later duration, farmers' movement were organized to attract the attention of the government for the various problems faced by the farmers. The government tried to tackle the farmers' movement as politically motivated movement by using police ordering firing lathi charge. In 1980, the farmers of Naragund, they revolted against the government's attempt to use force against the farmers. The farmers' revolt of Naragund was not only a protest of high-handedness of the police, it was also a total, complete pro-farmer movement. After the Naragund revolt, the farmers' movement leader was Professor M.D. Nanjundaswamy, who was a socialist who founded Karnataka State Rayata Sangha. This organization came into existence with the presidentship of Rudrappa, who was a Gandhian from Shivamogga. Professor M.D. Nanjundaswamy was named as a convener and N.D. Sundaresh was named as the secretary of the organization. It put forth various conditions. Due to unscientific price fixation, the farmers are in distress and hence the government should stop seizure of the properties of the farmers for their debts. Villages which lacked infrastructure should be developed immediately. Villages should get their share out of the resources extracted. Levy system should be stopped and many other demands were placed. Even today, the farmers' movement are going on. Very recently, the farmer protested against the Mahadayi and Kaveri River water sharing judgments of the court. You might have observed in the newspaper and in the television about this Kaveri and Mahadayi river issues. Now let us know about labor movement or trade unions. Usually labor movements or trade unions represents the ordinary workers. Labor movement is a movement which demands the better working condition of the laborers and pay for the workers along with the demand for the implementation of labor related legal provisions. The movement that is held through the trade unions is also called as labor movement. In many countries, trade unions have become the political parties too. Pro-labor philosophy has been started in opposition to the exploitation of the capitalism. In European countries, due to industrialization, there was a drop in the employment available in the agricultural sector. There was a migration from agricultural sector to industrialization, and more employment were there in the industrial sector. This resulted in the migration of workers from village to cities, from agriculture to industries. This led to over exploitation of the workers. They were forced to work for a longer hours. They became aware of this exploitation and they organized themselves and started to revolt. During the 19th century, workers' parties and trade unions started to organize workers all over the world. International Working Men Association was the first labor union established in the London in 1864. Main aim of this association was to protect the interest of the workers. Again, the labor movement spread to other parts of the world during the 19th century. Whereas, in order to protect the social security of the workers, in Government of India, the government implemented the law or the act in 1923 to ensure social security to the industrial workers. This act helped the Indian trade unions. The various associations could gain legislative recognitions. After this, many laborer unions were started and they have continued to protect the rights of the workers. There are many labor unions who have continued with the work. Now, let us learn about another important concept, untouchability prevention movement. Here is a picture. You can see how untouchables are treated. Untouchability is an inhuman practice of stratified society. We discussed in the first chapter of sociology, social stratification also. Before the implementation of constitution, the ideas like untouchables, that means to say some section of the people in the society should not be touched, should be untouched, should not stand next to him. If we touch, if we have the close association with them, something bad will happen. So this was the prejudice which was there in the minds of the people. Untouchability prevention movement took place in India. What is untouchability prevention movement? It is a movement which aimed at achieving eradicating of the practice of untouchability, which was really inhuman, and attack on the untouchable people has to be stopped. It is a movement against the caste-based social exploitation. When God has created everyone equal, why there should be the difference shown to them? Why there should be exploitation to some section of the society? So many great leaders, they fought for this, and the untouchable communities have been fighting for their rights for many number of years. Now we shall see a brief history of this movement. Jyotiba Phule organized a movement including untouchables and backward classes. The aim of the movement was to oppose Varnashrama system or Varna system and resist the dominance of caste social system. In India, Some castes were considered as upper caste, whereas untouchables were considered as very low. With this aim, various movements were started in states like Karnataka also, Maharashtra and in Andhra Pradesh during 1917. By 1925, Periyar Ramaswamy, here you are seeing a picture of Periyar Ramaswamy, who started self-importance movement in Tamil Nadu also. With the idea of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on gender discrimination, untouchability, the movement became very powerful. In the Round Table Conference, which was held in London in 1930, Ambedkar called for the untouchables to become the rulers of India. Ambedkar continued his fight for the rights of Dalits. Ambedkar continued to assert the rights of untouchables and women throughout his life. He started a periodical by name Mookanayaka and was instrumental in creation of various movements against the practice of untouchability. See what a good name, Mookanayaka. Mooka means very silent. These people were curtailed of freedom of speech and expression. Nayaka refers to leader. He became a great leader for untouchable, and Mookanayaka was the periodical which was started by him. Another great social reformer and father of India, Mahatma Gandhiji, he is also considered as a great leader. He played a dominant role in eradicating this untouchability. He considered the liberation from untouchability along with the national freedom. He was not only a political leader, but he was also a great social reformer. He was remembered even to this day. We have to be very grateful for many leaders like Ambedkar, Mahatma Gandhi, Jyotiba Phule, Periyar Ramaswamy. Because of the joint effort, they all joined the hands together in eradicating this untouchability. It is considered as a stigma in the Hindu society. Even today, many organizations and associations, they are very active in the work of eradication of all such evil practices.